Hi guys, Sean here. Here at Baby Beard, we find it difficult to grasp the concept of irony. So that's why we set out to somewhat harshly critique a fan film of Futurama, all the while being unaware of the fact that we too are a piece of media derived from that very same lovable program. We knew not what we did. So firstly, please bear that in mind. We'll ramble on like madmen for the first 15 minutes, but after that, we'll settle down, pull our blankets snugly over our shoulders, and discuss things like the cute little man boys we are. Secondly, please head over to the Cinema Relic's YouTube channel and witness Fan-O-Rama for yourselves. We assume you're capable of free thought, and until the time Baby Beard assimilates all life into the Baby Beard way, you are free to believe what you are programmed to believe. And lastly, we need Ellen back. We really need Ellen. Help us, Ellen. Help us.
Baby Beard!
Alright, I'm the delivery boy!
Who is Hermes planning on killing?
I think we should let the orphans run free.
You've redeemed funds.
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't.
He's just an old guy.
Can we talk about evil Lincoln?
Oh, of course.
Oh, this art needs to be sent. That's not the voice at all.
That's lobster tail.
Let's make it the
Look,
Christmas.
let me ask you this.
He was just about to agree with you.
Shut up and take my podcast.
Side mission.
Side mission.
Hello.
How's everyone doing today?
Great.
Yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
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 The tone has been set very early on, I feel, for this.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Just yes.
Yes.
Just
The
yes.
answer to that
And.
question is yes.
Yes.
And.
Welcome, everybody, to Shut Up and Take My Podcast Side Mission, where we deviate from our regularly scheduled program to bring you something different, because you deserve it. Definitely not because we're trying to stall for time, because you deserve it.
Sean, I really...
Hey.
I don't think they deserve this.
Oh.
Maybe they don't. Maybe we didn't deserve
We-
it.
no.
We did deserve this.
Look, spoiler, no one deserves this. And I'll get to that in a moment.
We'll get to shitting on whatever we...
No, critiquing.
So,
The only reason we're stalling for time is because we have a special guest
special
on an
guest.
upcoming episode.
I'm
so.
still tweaking the AI programming at the moment.
Yeah, we're totally replacing ourselves with robots.
Yeah.
so who are we? Well, as always, 1/3 of us is Phil.
I was supposed to think of something. References!
What did I say? How did I introduce you? What did I
A
just
third
say?
of us.
Yeah, so
So 2/3 of us.
2/3 of us is Josh.
That's it. That's
it.
That's my thing.
And we're joined by Sean.
By the third.
The third. Well, no, I said 2/3 are Josh and 1/3 is Phil, so I just
so
don't
you're
exist.
you're just a whole.
So you're the improper faction.
Yes. The
Proper faction, yes.
The improper faction.
and 3/3, Sean.
Yeah.
I didn't think of anything either. I threw it to you and I realised
You know what?
just...
That's oddly fitting because it feels like they didn't think about anything either. But we'll get to that.
Get to that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we decided to do something a little bit different. And so what we did is we went on to Fan-O-Rama, Futurama fan film. So I'm going to, before we get on to everything else, I'm going to run down, as I usually run down. So the director for this quotation episode is... I'm such a dick already.
Yeah.
It is quotations an episode. It's not even a complete episode, so you're fine in saying
Yeah, that's true.
I'm nothing if not accurate.
Yes, absolutely.
The director for this episode is Dan Lanigan, who, for those of you who may or may not know, was the executive producer and still is currently for at least part of the reboot of Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I can see a lot of that coming through in this episode.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
The writer for the episode, there are 3. Number
There
1.
are 3 writers for this episode?
Yeah, Dan Lanigan. Mm-hmm. Dan Lanigan is back from his directing duties of Fan-O-Rama to also write for Fan-O-Rama. And so I get to give you a second fact about Dan Lanigan.
Yep.
It's great. So he, along with the second writer, Andy Klimczak, Klimczak.
Klimczak.
It's probably a ch or something.
Yeah,
Klimczak.
They are both,
Klimczak.
I believe,
like that.
either writers or producers, I forget, for a reality show called Race to the Scene. Have you heard of this race?
So there's like a so it makes it sound like there's a crime scene, and they're like, "Quick, we need to get there and contaminate all the evidence."
What I was thinking is that they get famous people and miscast them in films. So you cast a white person in a black scene.
So it's a race
scene. Race to the scene.
What they actually do is they take a couple of contestants,
Yes.
and they are actually racing to different, I believe, famous movie sets or movie locations, and they do certain things to replicate famous movie scenes like Terminator and blah blah blah. The
Sounds
host-
like a giant waste of time.
Yeah, well, it's
I would
also a
prefer
waste of Dolph Lundgren's time, who's the host.
Look, Dolph
Hey, he's got free time.
He's got nothing but time.
He's got nothing on at the moment.
In the trailer that I watched for it, in his words, he is the greatest action star of all time.
He is a action.
Star.
He's an action participant. Yeah, he's an action participant.
And
let's not shit on Dolph as well.
Dolph's got enough shit in.
This is going to be called Side Mission. Let's shit on everything.
Side
did we
mission.
just
Let's
wake
stop
up
being
cranky
charming and get our audience to
we
despise of us.
We were charming?
We were more so than we
was
were
about to say, I was like-
right in this very moment.
Okay.
The third writer is Cody Frederick, who, first of all, you may know him as Fry from Fan-O-Rama.
Yeah.
And secondly, himself, Cody Frederick, along with Dan and Andy, were all writers. No, sorry. So they...
Jesus Christ.
Fans of.
Okay. Cody was the producer,
Yep.
and Andy and Dan were the writers for their next project, which is Spinners, Izzy Lyons, The Unspun Truth, which is going to have two Who's Line alum, which is Greg Proops and Jeff Davis, as well as Phil Lamar
Is
of
it
Futurama
like
fame.
a fidget spinner fan film?
I'm thinking it must be. It's a mockumentary. That's all
Yeah.
that's known about it.
Okay.
That's the last bit of information that was put on about it.
I mean, I did see a really good take on fidget spinners where they were like, what if fidget spinners were like an anime thing?
Oh.
And they did loads of like over-the-top effects and stuff, and the guy came on, oh my god, he spun it for 30 seconds!
My question, you said it's being made?
Yes.
Fidget spinners are far past this point.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
Tends to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah.
film production moves pretty slowly, so...
It's like Shaq Fu, the remake game that they made, is a bunch of references to like 2012 in it. It's like, great, this game came out in 2017, 2018.
I'm sorry, Shaq Fu?
Yeah, they remade
As
Shaq
in-
Fu.
Shaq Fu.
Shaq Fu is one of the most notoriously bad fighting games of all time.
Please tell me it's Shaquille O'Neal.
It is Shaquille
Oh
O'Neal.
my
Is
god,
it as bad
yes.
as Masters of
The
Terrakasai?
It is as bad, if not worse, and it's famously bad, but in a fun way.
Dropping the references.
Alright, so the air date for this, once again, quotation mark,
Episode.
is December 22nd, 2016. Now, why is that surprisingly relevant? Because this episode dropped on YouTube the day after Baby Beard Media dropped their first Futurama episode.
Oh, there you
Wow.
go.
Okay.
Our little tribute was right alongside their little tribute.
Now,
It's a tribute. It's made with love.
So the production company
It's
is
not competency.
the production company is Cinema Relic. So they at least as far as I'm aware, they came about July of that year, so about 6 months previous.
Okay.
There are 5 people that kind of run it. 3 of them are the people that I mentioned. So
Okay.
Dan Lanigan is the head of the company. Cody Frederick is an actor/producer and is involved. Katie, what was her name?
Katie...
Lanigan?
Yeah, no,
Yes.
yeah.
Was it Katie?
Lanigan.
I apologize
Yeah, I'm
if I
pretty sure
got
it's
her
Katie
wrong.
Lanigan.
And there's another guy.
Once again, Chris Ding or Ant, which thank you for that last time. It was
Yeah, it
amazing.
was very
Yeah.
useful. Thank
I
you.
laughed so hard.
I was going to look up and check which you got right, but I got drunk again.
She is also a part of it as well. So it's not so much that I think she might be the sister. But either
Yeah,
way,
she's related. Yeah,
either way,
yeah.
everyone that's involved in the company, the production company, was involved in putting several hats on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you say, you know, they just started the film company, so maybe they've been working together previous to this, but this is probably the first time they got this particular team all together, and this is their first project, so that actually sheds a little bit of light on this, and I actually feel like going a lot more gently on this.
Well-
and there, it's not like
Yeah.
as much as we've kind of pre-figured our reaction. It's it's not completely terrible. There are aspects.
I
that
am
are
going
good.
to start at the end and then backpedal
Yeah,
the whole
yeah,
way
yeah.
through.
We're going to
because
start with our
re-
strongest reaction.
I really need to let this phoenix that is inside my chest out.
Can I
Okay.
read you Cinema Relic's mission statement?
Sure.
Yes, you can.
We hereby found cinema relics, or simply, cinema relics, to bring two things to the world through entertainment. Cheer, knowledge, and compassion. Wait, that's three. Three things to the world through entertainment. Cheer, knowledge, and... You know what? Forget knowledge.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure who thought that was a good idea. So let's just go with cheer and compassion, except for our enemies. We hate those guys. Those guys should have misery and fear. So 4 things through entertainment. 2 for our friends and 2 for our enemies. Thinking about it, our friends will probably be cheered up knowing that our enemies are quaking in fear and misery, and the lack of our vengeance on them will bespeak our compassion. Okay, so with the cheer and compassion being self-evident, let's settle on this. We hereby found cinema relics to bring 2 things to the world through entertainment. Misery and fear to our enemies. Unless there were more enemies and we had to make some sort of the enemy of my enemy is my friend dealio, oh, that would suck. In those cases, we'll pretend to be nice to them as long as it's in our own self-interest. Once they've outlived their usefulness. Wham! Misery and fear. And now that I'm really thinking about it, the key to this whole endeavour is making piles of cash to buy food. Maybe some of those hot wings that have sort of a sweet heat. You can't take down enemies on an empty stomach. Probably need some beer to wash it down too. Okay, so you know what? It's probably obvious that we want bad things to happen to our enemies. Who wouldn't? So to simplify, we hereby found cinema relics to bring us wings and beer. Much more succinct.
Phil,
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Do you still want to be easy on that?
That
That has burnt any bridge that I have with them right now. I peaked all of the audio there.
You peaked so hard. It's a little cringy, their mission statement. Like, they're trying to be irreverent, right?
They took
bits of it were okay.
They took good Monty Python jokes and then just...
I thought it was going to be all a Monty Python stand-up, and then they went their own direction. That's okay. And it did that thing where it goes, oh, well, this is a bit cringy. Oh, no, they keep going, okay, now it's kind of slightly funny again.
Yeah.
I liked it. It endeared me
It's
to
okay.
them
And
when I
Chris,
read it.
It's okay.
about halfway through that, can you slowly start raising the Oscar, playing off music while Sean is reading that, so we can just hear that, being, the little bit of applause and, the music being, get off the stage now.
I feel like Chris is just going to tell us he's drunk.
Still super drunk. Haven't done anything. Editing is hard.
The
Right there with you,
robot
buddy.
that has taken over Chris's job is just going to tell us.
So, Phil, can you run down the plot, please?
Okay.
Is there a plot, firstly?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of threads that are set up and then dangled. So the main one is that Fry and Bender are out of beer and they want to write a jingle that will give them a lifetime supply of beer. Meanwhile, they have to also transport some giraffes and a bomb somewhere.
Yes. That is the plot, isn't it?
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a little bit of a side thing with Zoidberg that goes absolutely nowhere. He's supposed to go and get the bomb back because it's dangerous.
Well, nothing goes anywhere because they ran out of money.
Yeah, and then so this is all sort of in process, and they're on the way to the planet, and they keep shouting beer, and every time they shout beer, it alerts the cops or something.
It's every time they harmonize, it resonates with this space rock, which is now coming towards them because there's
a certain space frequency that's attracting
this is all inference.
evil.
It's not really explained, and then with this thing catches up with them, and that's where the episode just stops.
Yeah.
Smash cut, Zapp.
Yeah, and Zapp explains that they ran out of money.
And you forgot the most important part of the episode, the 12 minutes of uninterrupted Hypnotoad
Yeah.
after the credits.
Yeah.
Which was good for about 10 seconds.
Yes, like
I
Hypnotoad.
figured they planned to make a half-hour episode, and they were like, well, let's just fill the rest of the time.
Yeah.
So, guys, what do we think?
It's pretty cringy. There are elements to the design that I really like. And the care they've taken into sort of realizing Futurama in the real world, in live action. There's, the lounge room's pretty good. Inside the ship and the stop motion stuff's pretty good. That's my favourite parts out of it is the craft
The design.
that went into it.
I do like that. What Cinema Relics talks about is they favour using old school film techniques. So I think that's kind of mostly realised through their use of practical effects wherever they can.
Yeah,
in
stop motion.
Yeah, Nibbler. Nibbler for me is probably one of my
Nibbler's
favourite.
awesome, yeah.
Nibbler's,
May I?
Yes, you can
You
tell
may.
us what you think.
as long as you lean back when you're about to
Oh,
shout.
no, I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to yell. I'm just going to say that I like the visuals. I think it's very pretty. I think the realization of a lot of things in live action is fantastic. Apart from that, I fucking despise everything about this, and I hate fans who take it upon themselves to be like, well, let's write fan fiction. Let's make our own things. It's like, great. Leave it alone. Just stop.
So, question: are you of the opinion that no one should make fan fiction into a video filmic format?
Are you going to raise the Uncharted thing with Nathan Fillion as a counter to this?
No, but we can.
It is a good counterpoint.
It is a good counterpoint because I was thinking of it as well. I liked that, but I still stand by it that the moment that...
No, keep talking.
My point is that if you are inspired by something and you like something a lot and it's like, this has left a lasting impact on my life, it's like, fantastic, take that inspiration and make something with it rather than sticking to something like by... Okay, so you...
Keep going.
Okay, so you can pray at the altar of the thing that you like, and that is fantastic and good for you, and enjoy that, and we all enjoy that. But then going, haha, but they did it wrong, or oh, it ended, so I'm going to continue it on. It's like, no, leave it alone. It's dead. It's dying. It's done. It's done. We don't need to see new original stories from people outside of the thing doing that thing. I don't.
So how do you apply that to the Uncharted idea?
I would be very happy as well if that didn't exist.
Right. Okay.
I think it's funny, and I'm like, I looked at it, I'm like, cool, it's Nathan Fillion getting to do what Nathan Fillion does, and it's nice, but it doesn't need to exist.
It's a little bit different, I think, with Uncharted, because it's not a TV show. It's a game, right? It's a game, and making a TV show of it's kind of, it's the same thing. I saw a Last of Us fan film that was kind of interesting. It's nice to convert one thing to another and see how it plays out in another format. This is already a TV show, and what you're doing is just a live-action version of that TV show.
It's a TV show that doesn't work, because I think, Phil, you and I kind of looked at each other. You even raised it's like, they're really shitting on Leela, but not in like a cartoon, this is fun kind of way. It was more like, this in live action doesn't work.
Well, I don't think it's just that. I think
none of those characters are charming in the least. Like,
no.
They can't get away with any sort of problematic characterization.
Can we rate who the worst actor playing a character is in this?
Well, I'm going to Fry.
Yeah, because I'm going Fry as well.
I think it's probably Fry. There are bits of Bender that I think are okay. I actually think Leela's worse than Fry, but it's much of a muchness. And if I can sort of branch off that, the strength of apart from being a really nicely animated show, and really well made, which is wonderful, for me the big strengths of Futurama are its writing and its voice acting.
Yes,
it's got excellent, legendary voice actors in people like Billy West, John DiMaggio, and the writing is these whip-smart team of amazing writers. Brilliant writers' room, right?
Yeah. And it's complemented by the editing, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
The editing in Futurama is usually very snappy and very on point.
That's right.
In this, I think the editing is also pretty good, though.
Oh, are you kidding me? I've got the editing down as one of the worst things about Fan-O-Rama.
I was highlighted pacing about 800 times.
Oh,
pacing
is awful. And it's not looking at the right thing at the right time. It's like really zoomed in on some... And sometimes you can't tell what's going on. It's problematic.
Yeah. It's not... It's a bit disappointing because you think these guys are clearly like kind of filmmakers. That's their strength. They want to make films. Yeah. Their real strength is props and sets, which are lovely.
Yeah,
and really well done.
Absolutely.
But they don't have the skills to do Futurama justice, which is write good, absurd jokes.
Yeah.
Keep it snappy. And have really expressive voice actors.
Well, they're going in, writing it in a style that is not their own. They're going in there to do something that is already there. They're trying to...
They're copying.
Yeah, they're basically trying to make a bike while they're looking at a different bike with no instructions. And it's like... But all of them are car mechanics rather than bike makers. It's like, we can make a bike, this will be fine. And then it's like, it comes out looking like a car, and it's like, well... Why? And it's like, well, maybe people should make their own things instead of I hate fans sometimes.
So
I hate
here's
fans.
the thing, right? I'm not of the. I don't think. I think fans should make fan films. I think you definitely should. However, what I'm going to say is you're going to be open. You should be open to a lot of criticism. Like you can be, as any art should.
Yeah.
Like you look at it and go. I look at Fan-O-Rama. My first question is. Even in capable hands, can something like Futurama transition to live action well? I don't know the answer.
You need the writing and the actors. It's so hard to tell from this because the writing is just a bunch of references.
The audio
with
is
odd,
a bit
good
weird
joke.
as well.
The audio is pretty badly mixed.
Yeah.
And just particularly Leela, just her acting just makes me very angry.
I didn't find it that bad.
Her physicality as
I agree.
Her gestures are just...
Well, this is the thing. Her physicality, it's not great. But audio-wise, I thought it was fine. The you could tell it was ADR the whole way through.
But
like,
still,
she's
there's this
re-recording.
weird breathy quality and this weird kind of like pushing through.
I just don't believe
because
anything.
because,
It's just
because of the ADR. Because of the ADR. on top
No,
of
it's
that.
it's past the editing. It's just the choice of the actor.
She just doesn't sound like she believes what she's saying.
No,
There's
same
a-
with Amy. Actually,
Yeah. And Amy seems Asian. It's like Amy doesn't have an Asian accent, guys. Just,
No, she doesn't, does she? She's Marzican.
She's Marzican.
And
she
when-
looks Asian. And the person they got playing her put an Asian accent or has an Asian accent, but it doesn't work.
There was a thing as well, Sean, you saying about like the fact that fan films should be made. I think that fan films can exist as long as you don't take established characters. Make a fan film set in the Futurama universe where we don't see the Planet Express crew.
I don't know. I just think you can't really start telling fans what they can and can't create. Like let them do it. Like, of course,
Let them do it, but know that if you're going to take on the main characters,
of course,
you're going to you're going to run into problems
Yeah.
where people go, well, these don't feel like the main characters.
I'm immediately thrown out of whack as soon as I heard Bender talk. Because it's not Bender.
I didn't
His
mind
laugh
Bender.
is good.
Yeah,
His laugh is great.
I didn't mind Bender. I thought Bender was fine. I love what they did with Farnsworth with this. I think Farnsworth is the only one who is appropriately Farnsworth from the show.
I find it very hard to connect with him because of how
His
much
face doesn't move at all.
He has a giant prosthetic.
I
on
was
his head.
listening to this episode more than I was watching.
Yeah.
I love Hermes. I know you have some problems. I think Hermes
I wrote down
is great.
Hermes is okay, and then he made that disco ball line, and then I wrote Hermes is no longer okay.
But that's the writing, once again, that goes
Yeah.
back
Tough
to the writing.
line
The
to
characterization of
carry.
Hermes, I think, is fantastic. And
Yeah, he's pretty-
he transitions to the real world quite well, actually.
Yeah, he does actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what the hell he was talking about while he's sitting at the table, but
No.
It was something about he was complaining about the bureaucracy bringing in something new.
yeah.
And there was a very Hermes line, like the most appropriate Hermes line as well, when Farnsworth tells him to like fix it, and Hermes is like, "I'll take care of it." Blowback, go take care of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
You know what is good about... Okay, this is what I will give props to, is there's a few little visual jokes that do work quite well. When there's all the different coding that they're going through on the ship, and you see, I think there was like Bender's porn.
Yeah. Bender's backing up his porn files. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. I think Initiate Zoidberg Protocol,
Yep.
I particularly like, which is just to ignore the call.
There was
cool, yeah.
an asteroid radar, which was the game Asteroid. The
Yeah,
asteroids
that's
were like
pretty
shaped
cool.
like- I was like, that's fine.
There's bits in that sequence that are okay and bits that aren't. Like, those quick visual jokes are nice, and they show you around their set and their cockpit. But they also keep, whenever they cut back to the ship, they keep being like, look at the set we made. It's got dials.
Which I do know is where
knobs
the
and
very
things."
first thing they tackled was the ship. I know that as soon as they started doing the design work, the ship.
Yeah.
It gets really obvious that they're super proud of the set, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, you have to use it organically. You have to find an organic way to show us around. You can't just linger the camera on things and be like, have you seen the set that we made? It's really spiffy. It is spiffy, guys. Well done, but you can't put a handbrake on the show to show us around the controls. It's
I
bad.
wouldn't even have minded if they brought in more like
Morbo.
Morbo would be good. Like for Fry, for example, they brought in the guy who
Cody Frederick.
Yes, indeed. I would have loved if they just got a red-headed actor, just a red-headed
Instead
actor.
of dyeing his hair or a wig or whatever.
Yeah,
he's
So
got
what's
on,
interesting is the impetus for this even being made is apparently they were in a car driving along, and Dan looked back at Cody, and Cody was wearing his hair a certain way, like kind of up, and he looked at Cody and went, "You kind of look a bit like Fry." And then a few jokes and kind of being semi-serious, they said, "Oh, let's make a Futurama thing," and then they did.
And then they just did
Here's
that.
the thing: he can look like Fry until the cows come home, but it's not a character he can play because he
He's-
comes across as obnoxious. Like it's horrible.
It's
His just sense of timing is very bad.
Not just
bad
that, but
as
like
well.
and good lord, he's aware of the camera.
Yeah,
He's really aware of that camera.
I think that's the thing that came through from because in the animated show, there's that sense of they kind of mirror between looking at the person and kind of looking at the screen. There's that little middle point where they kind of look. And I
Right.
think he's trying to do that, but in live action that looks horrible. He's just looking at the camera.
I don't think he's trying to do that. I think he's just like, "Hey,
just spiking the lens.
I'm making a joke."
I
Beer.
honestly just hate everything about this when it comes to the writing and the acting.
Yeah. It's the acting that really lets it down. It's that and the pacing. Like, there's just you could drive a train in between the lines.
Oh, yeah.
is so painful.
And even some of the line deliveries are just so
Yes.
laconic and slow, and some of those characters you need to drive
the whole
through.
Zapp thing at the end.
I was literally about to say that.
It's like a total case in point where you're just like, this is lethargic, it's slow,
And you
doesn't
know why?
have the energy of the character.
Because he's not playing Zapp.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's playing Shatner. I wrote that as well.
I literally wrote this
We
down.
all wrote that down.
my note here is too Hasselhoff of a Zapp. He looks too much like David Hasselhoff, firstly. And then speaks too much like Jim Carrey parody of Shatner from Ace Ventura.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we know, Zapp is based on Shatner.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
true.
Yes.
And quite obvious.
Yeah.
But Zapp is his own thing. He has a bit more energy than Shatner. He's not as laconic.
Someone
and
has
he
told
a
the
bit
actor,
more,
though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yes.
someone said to the actor, obviously I'm going to go on a limb and say the actor hadn't seen Futurama.
Yeah.
So how do you play it? Look, he's basically William Shatner, so just play William
Yes.
Shatner.
Yeah. It seems that's what he's done. Yeah.
Also, I would have liked if they just showed... Because anytime they've shown Zapp's like uniform riding up slightly, it's always black. It's like darkened in there, so you don't actually see... Or it's always the reaction of someone else. Could they just have had, like... He moves his legs apart and it's just dark, and it's like...
Yeah.
The idea of, like, that comedic timing is you're like, oh, I'm going to see his dick. Oh, there's nothing... It's
Yeah, the
just shadow.
pixelation is just
It would have been
gross,
cool
actually.
if you're going to do that. Only do it enough to make the Basic Instinct joke, which is
Yeah.
you
Just
make
do it
the
once.
cross and then
Yeah.
do it once and then
Or
it's over.
have him do his legs over, like starting to do his legs over, and it cuts to Kif, and he's like, ugh, and then it cuts back, like the
Oh
Simpsons
God!
joke.
Imagine
of,
how horrific but great Kif would have looked.
well, I mean,
It would have been awesome, yeah.
Zoidberg looked pretty good.
Yeah, I quite like that costume
Hell,
design.
I like the Bender design. The problem you have with Bender is that he's not limber. Obviously, you know why. But it's just, God, that guy moves slow.
I mean,
yeah, it's a bit hard.
Yeah, it's really hard because it would have been. Well,
I quite like the way that his arm reaching all the way across the cockpit. That feels quite
I like
organic
the-
and smooth.
I
Yeah,
like
quite
all the
that.
practical effects. It just means, you know, due to the fact that the writing already and the delivery is already slow, it's accentuated by, like, you know, Bender, get out of his ship. Right. It's just kind of slow.
There's this thing, right, where they didn't even have enough to fill a half hour, right?
yeah. Well, they did. They had more than enough to do like one plot, but instead they started to put 3 plots into this episode.
Yeah, and
The
then they sort
Zoidberg,
of lost their way.
Zoidberg beer and the bomb movement.
The idea, I think, is they want to get all the characters in because they can make them all, and they really want to add kind of like as many kind of nods to the show as possible.
And there was that thing at the end where it was like, hopefully if enough people watch this and we get enough buzz, we can make a feature length or something. It was something along those lines.
They said hopefully we can get another Futurama feature, like saying hopefully... like
Yeah, they're basically trying to say maybe they'll get the show
Good.
going.
If that's the case, then I'm fine with it.
They
but
weren't digging for more stuff.
Yeah, if they were digging for more, then...
No, they're like,
I
hey...
don't think they were.
And it is like, not for nothing, similar to why we're doing this podcast, it's done purely out of his love for the show. You can see that.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
absolutely going, hey, we recognise, you know, thanks once again, Fox and David, and, you know, go watch Futurama if you, for some reason, haven't already. Why are you watching us first? It's weird.
Yeah, that would be very strange.
I really wonder. I really want to know, for someone who's never seen Futurama, if they watch that first, will it have burnt all bridges?
No,
The
of
idea.
course not. No,
I don't know.
no.
We don't know. We don't know.
I mean, maybe, but I don't see you going, oh, this is a fan film of a cartoon. It's a bit shoddy in some aspects. Well, I don't like the cartoon.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe somebody feels that way, but it's a pretty bad way to make
because
decisions.
I know on the flip side, I know some people who watched Last Airbender, the M. Night Shyamalan train wreck, and then refused to watch the animated series.
Well, those people are idiots.
I'm on the flip side. I watched The Last Airbender, right? And I've never seen an episode of Avatar in my life. And I watched Last Airbender, and I sat there, and I'm about an hour in, and my thought is, I've never seen Avatar. But I get the feeling that this film is pissing off a lot of Avatar fans.
You can just
right
get
now.
the sense.
Just get the sense that it's not quite the same thing. One day I will watch Avatar.
Yeah,
Because
it's
kind
good.
of what I was saying to you, Josh, earlier. I don't watch anime very often, but every time I watch anime, I love it.
Yeah.
This is one of those
Just not
ones.
Just not something you kind of go to when you're like, oh, I want to watch a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, you know, Ellen actually introduced me to Attack on Titan,
That's okay.
and I started binging it.
Yeah.
I love it.
If you like that, you'll like a lot more. I'll just say
I
that.
figure so.
Yeah.
I figure so.
But this is, funnily enough, speaking of Last Airbender, while watching that movie, like, within the first line, I kind of leant back in my chair and went, ugh. And that's exactly what I did with this as well. It was like, the opening bit, I was like, ooh, and it was like opening line of dialogue with Fry. I was like, ugh.
Oh. Yeah, it just it's really let down by certain aspects of it, which kind of tank its enjoyability.
Yeah,
its enjoyability.
yeah.
And that's a shame because there are aspects of it that are quite good and nice to see. It's not those core entertainment things.
Yeah,
of acting that just bury it. Unfortunately,
it's one of those things that really carries through with me is that it's a bunch of people doing imitations of something that they're not verbose enough to do an imitation in. I think the Bender is close. I think Farnsworth and Zoidberg are good. I think Hermes is good. But like the Amy and the Leela and the Fry are just a little bit off.
I think they're more than a little bit off.
I genuinely liked the Leela stuff. So that's the one thing that we'll all disagree on. But otherwise,
I couldn't stand Leela. I just couldn't stand her.
Question.
Yes.
Let's say, for some reason, we've been given a boatload of money, Baby Beard, on the caveat that we must make a Futurama fan film using the Baby Beard cast members. Who gets cast where?
Well, all three of us have beards.
we have the ability to shave them.
No.
No, that's a caveat.
Mine is
Second
permanent.
caveat.
Mine is permanent.
All three of us are individual, terrible characters who come into this world, and we're stalkers of the Futurama characters.
Yes,
and then we get fired into space.
But do you know what would be very good? Would be to do something quite meta, right?
Yeah.
And we're fans of show in the Futurama universe that is about like a delivery crew or something, or like.
So we're galaxy questing it?
Yes. Yes. Lampshade the fact that we're three fans making a fan film, and we star in that fan film as fans. I think that would be the best.
However, if you were to cast us as Futurama people,
No.
I
I have too much.
You're a bit Jewish, right?
No.
Zoidberg.
I was going to say Scruffy for me.
I can see Josh as a Zoidberg.
Scruffy's my internet handle, so I'm going to be Scruff.
Okay. You actually do have a bit of a scruffy quality to you. I feel like I want Sexy Chris as Farnsworth.
Yeah, okay. I'll be down for that. And you can be...
Fry,
I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Lucky you.
Yay.
Lucky you. You get to be the star of the film.
Alright. No, I'll be Fry.
I'll be Nibbler. I want Nibbler.
Can you do his Nibblonian voice?
Indeed. And do we just...
Can you be Morbo?
So, yeah. I was just thinking, so clearly then
Morbo's
Ellen
my favourite.
has to be...
I love Morbo.
Amy?
No, I was going to try and make a joke and I couldn't remember his name. Wormstrom. There you go.
Wormstrom!
I'll get you, Farnsworth!
Oh, that's
good. That was good.
Wormstrom's the only side character I can really do with any... And this is coming on with the other obvious caveat that you've heard us do so many imitations of Futurama characters, and we can't do it.
Well, we can't do it. We're very bad impressionists.
So it's almost like we realise that in the fact of us impersonating things, we shouldn't do a long-form, recorded, movie-length thing
What
of us
are you
imitating
talking about?
people.
It's already bad.
What?
Idea.
No.
They what I would have maybe liked to see this a bit more is to make it aim it at being 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Instead of aiming at being half an hour and falling short. Make it 10 minutes long and tighten it up a lot. Make it really zip along and make it just a very... Maybe even... they love the ship, so... I don't know. I would like to see it just be a lot more contained.
Could you not just
rattle through a quick...
bottle ship it on the ship going somewhere, and then just if you need to have other characters, have them come through communication.
Yeah, bottle episode on the ship.
Yeah, and it should just be really in and out. Here is all the sets, all the characters. Here's a very, very condensed plot. With a couple of gags. Boom.
Make fun of the fact, have Bender set up in situations, but don't have him move. Make the joke the idea that, Bender, get out of here, and then Leela and Fry talk, and you just see, the top half of Bender just move in the background. So it's the idea of, we don't need to see his legs. We see his legs and his arms already, that's fine. But the fact that it's an impractical model, have him move in a way that's not,
highlight it, maybe.
Yeah.
Or even highlight the fact that they're in... Do what Futurama writers would do, like they did when they made the podcast, and, have everyone riff on and make jokes
on fan films,
on the jokes about fan films, about
animation to live action.
Yes, exactly. Make the jokes about the fact of what it is, because Futurama loves to be self-referential like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of, very much in the spirit of Futurama as well. It's like commenting on the times and using sci-fi in the future as an analogy for that.
Yes.
Perfect.
That's the question. There is no real analogy here to any modern day problem. It's just like a bunch of Futurama-esque problems in Futurama land.
Well, this is why this is what I think. Well, this would be my argument to why a lot of fan films don't work. Is when you take an existing property, usually that series exists to comment on something, or it has a style, or it has something it's gearing towards. Whenever you get a fan film, instead of what they should do is instead of just being self-referential to the series that they love, because obviously it's in service of being we love this show, we want to have a tribute to it. Instead of strip that away and find out what that series was gearing towards and just do that.
Try and recreate the spirit of the show rather than just refer to it repeatedly. I think which is what they do here. There's quite a few things where it's just like, you remember this from the show, don't you?
This is a line from the show.
Yeah, and it's quite frustrating. You're like, we've seen the show, it's okay. You don't need to prove that you have seen it too. It feels a little bit like they are very keen to say, hey, we're fans too. And like, well, you're making a fan film. We know that you're fans.
Yeah.
Just try and capture the spirit of the show, which would be to send yourselves up for making the thing at all. Which they try at the end with Zapp. They try.
Yeah,
but it's a little bit too late.
That's the thing. You keep that sort of spirit, but just pepper that all through a shorter length of time.
Which is funny, because Sean and I were having a conversation earlier before we were berated by a crazy old guy in his car, talking about Looper. Which actually leads into this point, funnily enough. Because in Looper, they kind of say, don't question time travel, it's fine, get on with it. And it's like, okay, cool, this film is fine, I'll accept that. This one at the end has the Zapp thing about, like, they ran out of money, so they won't be able to make a new one, or do anything further. And it's like, cool, don't make that joke.
They haven't earned it.
You haven't earned it. You haven't earned it at this point.
Yeah.
Whereas Looper, if Looper is competent enough that, as we were saying, it's quite problematic in that it takes the two different forms of time travel and tries to meld them together.
Multi-dimensional time travel and paradoxical time travel.
Yeah. They have both, but they get over that. First of all, it's a competent film, and then by the time you get to the conversation, they're saying, look, we're here
to tell a story. Yeah.
Don't question it. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. And here, I don't think there's a story.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's play dress up and make a set. And the set is great, but the dress up is a dress up. It's a dolly dress up at this point.
Yeah, it feels like cosplay a little bit. Yeah. Very, very good cosplay.
Yeah. How do we feel? Do we feel more loosey-goosey? We got that out of our systems?
I feel like I've...
That's all right.
Yeah. Like, released a bunch of tension.
Yeah, you just...
every part of my body.
Get mad at something. It's very cathartic.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving a good punt. What were they called?
Cinema Relics.
Cinema Relics. Yeah. Thanks. You'll be consigned to history. Like a relic.
And
get it?
Honestly,
get it?
Guys, you know what? Check them out. Actually, no, honestly, check it out.
Seriously.
Go to Cinema Relics on YouTube and look up Fan-O-Rama.
If you want props made, hit those guys up.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're really good at sets and props and stuff.
They should have something coming out either this year or next year, I believe, which is the Spinners one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Give it a shot.
Yeah.
Otherwise...
I'm just playing myself up as well. My rage is for entertainment's sake more than...
Don't lampshade it.
I need to because someone's going to be like, oh, Josh, you're an asshole. I'm like, yes.
Shitting on this fan.
Yeah, I shit on fans all the time. I am a fan, and I have been shit on in my previous life. So
look, it's a give and take shit system.
Yeah, this is true. You give a shit to take a shit.
Yeah.
So, good punt. It missed the goal, but you tried.
Where does this rate against the Radio-Rama one?
Oh, right. So,
Radio-Rama's way better. It's way better. It's got Billy West in it.
Yeah.
John DiMaggio.
Everyone.
It's got everyone. It's got all the voice actors. And Chris Hardwick. I
am.
Makes me sad now.
I made myself sad.
Yeah. The Radio-Rama had one problem, like the slightest problem that was saved by the voice actors, which was it felt like they were trying to do Futurama too much. And I feel like this fan film has the exact same problem.
But without the talent of the original cast. So.
Yeah, it's...
So guys, we have to wrap up because we're about to run out of budget and we can't have anything more. So we just got to lampshade the fact that we have to stop recording. But, you know...
Somewhere to be.
Hey, guys, please contact us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com, especially if you have a differing view of Fan-O-Rama, or if you are Cinema Relics and you're listening to us right now. Feel free to shit on our podcast.
Yeah, please do. Please do. We deserve it. We deserve it. You can share our podcast in other places as well by finding us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. All shits are welcome there. All our podcasts are on Spreaker and iTunes as well.
Yeah, and if you want to be the true troll and just give us 1 or 5 stars, depending on your outlook, and want to fight us, comment. We'll gladly talk it out with you. We start at the one point, and then we'll be humans after this.
Yes, so do if you're on there, feeling like rating us, do leave a comment. You must feed the algorithm.
Yes. Also,
Which helps to feed us, because
Yes.
we clearly get paid for this.
I made myself sad again.
Until then, I have been no thirds of this trio, Sean.
6/5 of this quadrilogy, Phil.
And constantly just making fun of fans everywhere, Josh.
Maths. Bye, guys.
Bye. Don't you know I narrated Thomas the Tank Engine?
Said Thomas. I am no longer responding to fan mail. Peace and love, peace and love. That was the video he recorded when he was talking about, like, he will no longer sign or respond to fan mail after a certain date.
Oh, wow.
And he kept saying peace and love through it.
Peace and love.
I am warning you with peace and love, were his exact words. It's great. Baby Bin Media, fixing a problem that we caused ourselves.
Yes. Don't unplug things while the Audacity's still going.
Yes.
I was about to say you sound like a South African Obi-Wan Kenobi there.
Oh, that's
You
funny. That's exactly what I was going for.
Yes. Yes. Anakin. No.
I was thinking, with the blast shield down, I can't see anything. You gotta trust your feelings, Luke. You can see beyond.
See beyond, Luke.
Slowly becoming more and more.
But now, a beetle.
Yeah, I was about to say you sound like a Simpsons impersonation of George Harrison.
George Harrison.
George Harrison?
I just want to play music.